Why is the control room empty?
Because they're gonna. Oh, he's gonna die.
You think I'd have you drawn as someone that instantly dies in movie 2? That would have been a waste of money. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and as the overlay now says, this is Lessons, and we are back with a movie 2 from the Gundam seed compilation thing, The Far Away Dawn. This is the second one that's going to be stacking up several hours worth of content into an hour and 20 minutes or whatever. Actually, first thing we have before I get into any of that is we do have a comment. David Butt from the Patreon, from the movie 1, The Empty Battlefield, and I'm only going to read half of your comment here because the other half is about watch orders and stuff, which I posted. Yeah, the compilation edits for Seed aren't that great due to the sheer amount of episodes it has to abridge. The third one is by far the best of them, given that it only has to condense 10 episodes instead of 20. Also, you probably won't end up watching them, but the Seed Destiny special editions are much better than the ones for Seed, because there are 4 of them, and each one of them only has to condense 13 episodes.
But that is a completely new series called Seed Destiny?
That is Season 2.
Season 2, okay.
I don't believe I have it here. Actually, maybe I do. Yeah, the Seed Watch Order. The Seed Watch Order is Seed, which is the first season, which we are now abridging in 3 movies. There is a 2-episode thing called Gundam Seed Astray, which we're going to watch after the movies, which is something I don't know either, so we'll be sort of on the same boat. I mean, obviously, I've watched the first 17 episodes of Seed 3 times now, and now you're getting the rush through in the movies, so you'll be on a little lesser tier. Hopefully you'll still have figured it all out by the end of the movie thing, but as far as I know, Stray is like side content. There is a manga series called Astray, and I think these 2 are like kind of like an introduction to whatever the manga is about. So, then there's Destiny, which is technically the 2nd season, Gundam Seed Destiny. And then there's a thing called Stargazer, Gundam Seed Stargazer, which, as I've heard, happens concurrently with Destiny, but the suggestion is that you watch it after Destiny to better understand what's going on. Because I guess if Destiny is the main content, and you see stuff about the main content going on in Stargazer, you don't want to be ruined for it. So, that is the order of things. And obviously there is the actual movie, the non-compilation movie, which would be after Stargazer. It's just not on that list. But yeah, no, that was what I was going to go over before David posted his thing talking about the watch order, so I just kind of posted that to him. Otherwise, I was also going to bring up the fact that, yeah, the 3rd compilation movie doesn't have to do twice as much content in a single thing. So hopefully that'll be less rushed through, easier to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess my only other thing before we get into your I'm gesturing to where my Discord window is, not my camera, to your thought thing, is that after we're done this, I'll do the same thing as before and go over what was changed from the TV version to this. Otherwise, yeah, go ahead. What are your thoughts? What do you want to talk about?
Well, my thoughts are because I saw a comment in the Discord, Stoneface Reactions, about this, and I think it was very enlightening. It's from...
I bet it has something to do with Waltfeld.
Yes, it's from... What's their name? It says S, but...
Snow something?
Just S. Yeah. So I'm going to read it. Seeing how the reactors have passed Libya arc of Seed, I do feel the need to talk about the part of the show. I think it's one of the worst bits of television I ever watched. No exaggeration. Strong opinions there. It's kind of staggering how the show is real-time recreates the unjust rationalizations for attacks on civilian population centers and supports it. What felt torches an entire town to the ground, and the show acts like it's an honorable man for giving the city a 15-minute advance warning. And then the show has the gall to try and say that there were no civilian deaths from the firebombing because of this. To say nothing of the fact that the show completely throws aside the the fact that civilians are now displaced war refugees in a desert and will probably die of hunger, exposure, or collateral violence now that they have no homes. How merciful. And on top of that, show further infantilizes the men from the villages serving in a resistance movement for their desiring to seek revenge and kill the war criminal who destroys their homes and displaces their families. It is generally awful how Kira talks out to these men after they're being slaughtered by Waldfeld troops. The movie kind of skips over that, so we didn't see that.
Well, I actually talked to you about it as it was happening, so it may have been hard to focus on while you're trying to learn stuff and have me tell you at the same time.
Yeah. Then zero onus placed on the fact that Waldfeld committed an awful war crime against these people, and it's such a disparaging take on the resistance movements. I think we both agree with this in the general principle.
No, actually, I don't disagree that there is a valid viewpoint on it. I think Justin, I don't think I reached this point with Griffin, but Griffin had already seen the show, but he didn't have any weigh in because he wasn't here. Justin had that kind of viewpoint where, yeah, they went out of their way to not hurt any of the people directly, but you did leave them in the middle of the desert with nothing. I'm just gonna let you go first. Obviously, I have the viewpoint of having seen the TV version, so I want to hear what your weigh-in is just based on the comment and the abridged version of the movie bit that you saw.
So essentially, it's even if that village was a center of resistance, it's one of the things about insurgency that collective punishment. This is a form of collective punishment, right? Oh, you are fighting against me, therefore I will strip you of your homes and your livelihood, right? He may not have just slaughtered them outright, but he still, like the commenter says, left them out to die in the desert, right? And I think it's a fair take. There's more comments to this whole conversation, which I'm not going to go to because it's going to take forever.
My worry was that they may have been spoiling stuff, but I feel like they at least kept it to the Waldfeld part of the episodes that were in with the movie. Yeah. Essentially, we saw up to Waldfeld's death, so I think it's pretty well encompassed that everything they're talking about on the Discord right now is non-spoiler territory, so I think we're good there. The thing is, it doesn't get covered a lot because obviously we're abridging a pretty major part of the TV series. Waldfeld does give the warning. In fact, I don't think it's 15 minutes. I think it's literally only 5 minutes. But the idea of they do shell it, but in the follow-up episode, we see that they also have their own mechs in the city doing like hand-to-hand work. Not hand-to-hand, obviously they're doing direct combat stuff, but they're also very much ensuring, as much as possible, that they're not hurting any of the civilians, because after the fact, we have like a breakdown with Waldfeld, and I can't remember his assistant's name. They're doing like an after-action report about how many injured, how many dead, and there's no dead. There are, of course, casualties in the injured column, but then we go with the resistance. That was at Desert Dawn, I believe. They're rushing in. They're upset because they think their families are dead, because this isn't like the center of the resistance. The resistance center is like in a cliff face, far off into the desert, hidden away. This is where their families are, and this is where they keep some of their supplies. So it's actually Waldfeld attacking, one, their families as a threat, but also their supply cache. They're trying to make sure that they're wearing down the Resistance's ability to fight this fight. And saying, hey, you're not untouchable. We can reach you even if we don't know where you are. There is that earlier Kigali point when they're in town, and she shows Kira this like ruins of buildings and says, this is what Waldfeld does. If you stand up against him, he will kill you. So Kigali says that earlier in the season, or not in the season, or in this little arc, and then we see Waldfeld trying not to hurt people, but at the same time clearly leaving them for dead, which is the point that Justin, I think, mainly focused on, that these people are, if left alone, kind of going to die. But we also see that the Desert Dawn immediately rushes out the moment that they find out that the town is under attack. They get there too late, but find that no one's dead. So kind of the assertion that Desert Dawn itself will rescue these people. Wellfield didn't really have to.
I mean, but you're leaving it to your enemies to do what you shouldn't have done in the first place.
Well, to be fair, I'm not going to weigh in on either side of this. Obviously, from a narrative standpoint, I'm on the Zaft side, so I'm going to side with Wellfield in a non-human way. Because, well, look, I know shit about what's happened in this war that you don't, which is ultimately going to taint my vision and not be able to share with you. So, this is one of those, like, non-historic... Well, I guess this would be like weighing in on a modern event right now, right? Where I'm going to say something like, oh, I side with this horrible thing that they did because of something else, and it's like, oh, I'm going to look bad either way, so I just don't fucking care. That is the scene that I described to you, where they rush out to attack Waltfeld, who's leaving the scene because it's not too separated by time, and get themselves killed because they don't have the capability to fight back, but they are in revenge mode. The problem is I had a lot more to talk about in this when it was not when it was happening, but in my after action notes, because I took the time to weigh everything and talk about it. So if you want my more in-depth point of view, you, the viewer, go back to those episodes, where, as it is, the episodes right after them, because that's where my notes would have been. But yeah, I don't know. I disagree with the sentiment of the post in that it's the worst thing ever, only because it's a narrative, and in the narrative he took the time to try and not kill people. Arguably, arguably he left them to die in the desert, but at the same point, he's fighting an insurgency. I'm an American, you're an American, and famously Americans not great at fighting insurgencies. Just like every other empire that went to the Middle East, we all fail in the desert. Alexander the Great couldn't do it, Russia couldn't do it, and we failed to do it too. So
it's the whole being an empire to begin with. That's the problem. But yeah, that's
I'm just saying that, everyone that goes there in history has failed to fight any insurgency based from there.
But yeah, so that's because there was so much happening. And again, I already make the point that the compilation movie doesn't really establish very clearly the reasons why people do what they do as a group. As individuals, fine, I get that. Especially, Kira is, I want to protect people. This other character wants revenge, this and that. But as a group, like Safta? Oh, that's the...
Zaft. Zodiac Alliance, Trade. I want to say Federation, but that's not. It probably is Federation. It's a dumb acronym. Just call them Zaft.
Zaft or Earth, the Earth Alliance, or whatever.
Treaty Federation. Treaty Alliance? Now you're saying Zafta, and I'm remembering it does. I think it does end with a. I've got my notepad open. I've literally written down
Zaft.
Zodiac Alliance of Freedom Treaty. Zaft.
Yeah. And also the fact that you have this, can only be described as a racial divide because the coordinators are supposed to be superior to humans, right?
There is the argument that Kira makes that coordinators and naturals are both human, which is, technically I've described coordinators as superhuman, so I guess technically in my own thing I'm considering them human. They're in the same category. I think I told you before that me and Griffin had the argument of, what do you call it? Species? They're different species. Same race, different species.
I think it's the other way around.
Well, I can't remember. It's the same genus, different species. Like we're both Homo. Great to say. It's scientifically true. Not a great thing to say on the internet. I don't know why. You can be a Homo all you want. Anyway, we're both Homo. One is genus, one is that we're all of the genus, right? That's the genus, Homo genus.
Yes.
Yeah, we're all the genus Homo, both naturals and coordinators. It's just that we would be now different species if you believe the subtext of what some of the people are saying in the show, and I would have to kind of agree with them in that the same way that we would be separated from like Homo erectus to Homo superior, or no, Homo superior is another made up one, isn't it? Homo.
Well, it's from X-Men, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think me and Justin talked about it, and I used the same sort of thing where you have Homo magi in DC. In that form of just made up superior new species of mankind. So you would have the naturals would be Homo sapien, and then coordinators would be Homo coordinator.
Yeah. But they're supposed to have higher reflex and all that, and the only ones that can really get the maximum effect from the weapons of war that they have, then humanity is in a huge disadvantage.
Essentially. Well, as was indicated with the fact that even only the coordinators can operate mobile suits.
Yeah, so...
Or not, they can only move. The difference between everybody we saw fighting at Heliopolis versus Ramus, who could barely operate the Gundam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, when you throw in that element in, I need a little more context for it. We don't have enough context. Maybe the second movie will give me a little more context for it to make sense, and now I have to make the decision whether or not,
Well, as I've said, you said you thought that we would both agree about the whole Waltfeld thing. There is the element there of one, it's led up to that Waltfeld is not a great guy, but he is also tried to be shown to have a modicum of honor in that he does his best not to kill anybody. But then the obvious argument, which both Justin and the comment that you're calling out here, or not calling out, you're reading out here, is that you're still guilty for leaving people to die in the desert.
I think the whole thing is like, kind of reminds me of Radio Gundam, right? It's like, okay, you have up to a point, you can defend yourself, you can even strike back because you have been, you can rebel. That makes sense because you have been oppressed. But when you cross certain lines, like, I don't know, killing half the population of the world, then, things, go sideways in your justifications, right? In this case, once you become an occupier for a people, right? For whatever reason you become an occupier, then, sure, they have, again, people are responsible for their own actions. And there comes a point where you cannot use someone else's actions to justify what you're doing, because what you're doing on its own is bad enough.
Right.
Or
in this
it's
case,
based on bad action. Yeah.
I don't think we have an example currently as far as we are in Universal Century Gundam to apply here, because essentially Waltfeld is responsible, I guess McQueeve, but we haven't seen much of him in Universal Century. He's responsible for keeping an area, right? So we've seen his, I don't know, I think we did in the movie, we've seen his little mobile base thing towering over the buildings that when Kigali is pointing out to Kira what's going on here, that he's responsible for, I guess it's, the commenter said Libya? God, I think me and Justin were guessing Egypt, because it feels like Northern Africa. But yeah, he's responsible for this region. He's got the Desert Dawn, which is like the resistance, trying to fight him, push him back. They have their own base. Obviously, they're locals, which means their family and friends and whatever are all here. So the fact that they're hidden, they come out of hiding to attack. I don't know. Obviously, this has to be a war crime to attack innocent civilians, but then you wouldn't know who the civilians are and who the resistance fighters are. Look, obviously I'm trying to justify, and that's probably bad act. That's a bad actor as well, to try and justify, because I don't know what I would do in this scenario, but I'm also not military trained, nor am I familiar with all the laws, like generally world laws that I'd have to be following in order to prevent this. This is if I was like in the apocalypse scenario, laws and shit are off the table. I have to figure out how to keep people in line. Well, I'm not killing them, and I know that they're going to come out and rescue these people. So this is a message. I've burnt your house down. You gotta go live with your friends and family now. Stop fucking with me.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's not real. No one's really hurt, except for maybe the artist's wrist. Like, no one's really hurt here. Maybe the voice actor got a little bit parched. This is all representational media.
Well, true, but it's issues that it raises for discussion and thought, which what makes it. That's where the depth of a story comes from.
Sure. There's also the touchy subject that sometimes we edit things out of our reactions because they are a little bit too real, and people don't come here. Maybe some people do, but I feel like the majority of people come here for good, fun reaction content of us watching a show that they enjoy, and maybe not like shoving our feet in our mouths, talking about real life politics and things that are currently affecting real live living people who have much, much stronger feelings about what's happening to them in their real lives or their families.
Yeah, the commentator goes into some real life examples, and I didn't mention them because they're part of the nature of the show, but still.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, and this is going to be my final thought on this before we talk about whatever else we're going to talk about. At the end of the day, I don't live over there. I don't know anybody that does. I am as disconnected as anybody in the world possibly could be. I am here talking about a show. Now, in the same way that any end of movie credit says that any events seen herein that may resemble any people living or dead, or any activities taken by people living or dead is completely coincidental, that's where I fall. I'm talking about a TV show and the politics of a TV show. I am doing my best to distance my brain from real life politics because I watch media not to get angry about the real world. I watch media to separate myself from that real world that is so shitty that I would get angry about regardless. Now, if you want to talk about real life stuff, go ahead. I am not you, and I can lean off the camera if I need to.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So that was what I want to bring, which is, again, like we said in Gundam, like we said in Macross, it doesn't always have to be this way, by the way, but the definition of depth is when it actually gets you to think about the possibilities. Like, oh, this happened and that happened, or this person is this way and did this way. Okay, if A plus B equals C, then what about D, E on F? So basically, this whole discussion from a meta-textual way is we're thinking about the possibilities within the narrative and also making some a bit shallow comparisons to the real world.
Well, I would say, what benefit does zaft have to holding this region? And at best, I could throw out is maybe control of movement. I get my words aren't coming to me. Control of like airspace or I guess logistics, because they're not actually like, we don't see them near like any water border, so we don't know if they're like near I can't think of the name. The tanker went sideways in it for a long time, and it ruined trade between the Mediterranean and
it's a canal.
Well, see, canal was coming to my head, but it's actually a whole waterway that I'm trying to remember the name of.
Yeah. I know what you're talking
about. Trade between the Indian Ocean and the Mediterranean.
The Suez Canal.
Yeah, the Suez Canal. Yeah, I don't think they're near there. They would be if I thought they were in Egypt. This person thinks they're in Libya, which is a little bit more separated between...
It's a country next over.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's still... Yeah, countries are big enough that they're labeled countries. No one points at Luxembourg on the map and says, that's a big old country, even though it is pretty big. That's just to denote how big places are on the map. But I'm just pointing out Libya is not directly connected to the Suez Canal. Yeah, other than being on the Mediterranean. Anyway, other than that, I don't know what the point is of being there. All the places that we see here, don't seem to be like manufacturing, no mine, no resources. It's literally just locking down a civilian population, which itself doesn't seem to have the means to contribute in a global warfare kind of scenario. So, at the end of the day, I don't see that Wallfield's presence is actually necessary here, because otherwise he's fighting a resistance that would otherwise be meaningless to the greater zaft war effort.
And by his presence, he's in a way creating the resistance, because these people don't want to be occupied, right?
Well, yeah, and there's also just resources that could have been spent elsewhere, because seems to have a whole number of booses, or whatever how you pronounce them, fighting jeeps with rocket launchers, like, that aren't actually able to hurt him all that much. So it's like, could have used these things elsewhere. Any other thoughts? Because again, remember, you had 7 hours condensed into an hour and a half to...
I mean, again, it's just a lot of things. And this 7 hours put more questions than answers, and I want to see if the next hour and a half or so actually brings some of the answers. Maybe, maybe not, because, again, we're condensing a lot of stuff, so they'll probably have to skip a lot of stuff that otherwise they would take time to explain, or at least show, like, oh, this is what's really happening. I'm like, yeah, but we only have an hour and a half, so... let's go.
Well, I will say the parts of the first movie, all the parts that were in that first 20 episodes or so were the parts I disliked the most about the show. So having that condensed and sped through, fine by me. It's really when they get to the desert, and even like the beginning of that is meaningless. That's mostly Flay and Sai and Kira, their relationship interactions. It's when we get introduced to Waltfeld and his assassination attempt when Blue Cosmos tries to kill him at the market.
Yeah.
Him being introduced to Kira and Kigali, and he was like, oh, I know who you guys are. Don't worry about that. But his is also the first introduction of, when do we stop fighting, right? When does the war over? Do we have to kill everybody? When can we call this an end? And then, of course, his death, as you saw.
Yeah.
So after this, it starts getting into the heavier shit. So I'm more concerned about how we're going to abridge the next 20 episodes. And I'm thankful that after that, we only abridged down 10 episodes into an hour and a half, because those are heavier.
Yeah, it's end of series, end of season anyway.
Yeah, I'm saying the payoff is being less abridged than the setup, which I'm thankful for.
Let's see what happens.
All right, I mean, anything else you want to bring up? Any other real difficult comments you want to just throw out there?
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I was going to say, also, just want to throw out there here at the end, make those difficult comments. Like, I'm not like rallying against them. I appreciate that people have real thoughts about this very fictional show. And because, the media, it's supposed to hold a mirror to us, right? So I appreciate them. I might think that they're hard to deal with comment-wise, but at the same time, love that people are having them. It's a place for discussion. It's like we're all on a couch, and one of us is really hard to talk to sometimes. All right, well, I guess with all that said, let's go ahead and hop on into it.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
These are SAF ships, right?
Yep.
Is everybody in SAF a coordinator, or just their elite troops?
Everybody in SAF should be a coordinator.
Oh. Well, that's a lot of coordinators.
Yep.
It's a relatively large population. Oh, the thing I didn't mention before was the murder of the civilians in orbit. Yeah, that was...
difficult.
That was a thing.
Yep. But then again, that was also Janus 7. The assumedly Earth Alliance murder for a bunch of civilians in orbit.
ズミックイラ71、2月、プラント最高評議会は停滞していたオペレーションウロボロスの強化策を決議し、ザラ国防委員長の提案による新たな作戦
スピットブレイク。
スピットブレイクの準備を開始した。一方アークエンジェルは砂漠を航海へと抜け、なおも追撃してくるザフトの部隊に苦戦しながらも一度
So you saw Lovefield die. We've already left. We're no longer in the desert.
Yeah.
ザフトの輸送機、
地球軍機。
Oh wow, right to this. Excuse me while I shit out a mobile suit.
小さい島なんだな。無人島か。
So Kigali has crash landed on an island.
ザフトへ。
That's right, Atherin was on that carrier. Coordinator is too fast to shoot. Sure, but Char could have done that from 6 feet away. Because nobody can fucking tell that Kigali is a girl. It's
They
gotta
did
be
give
so
her-
insulting, by the way.
Well, they did give her a deeper voice.
お前、あの時ヘリオポリスを襲った奴らの一人か。私もあの時あそこにいた。お前たちが壊したあのヘリオポリスの中にな。
It's funny to me, only that at the end of one of the episodes, they highlight that Kigali and Atherin are going to get into a fight. And that fight happens at the very last minute of the next episode. So they essentially next timed on the next time on.
何をやっている。
見てわかんないかよ。突っ立ってないで早く助けろよ。
威張って言える立場か。
カニがそんなにおかしいかよ。
いや失礼。あんまり経験がないんでね。こういうことは。
There's generally humanizing two of the characters.
おい、どこへ行く。
ちょうどいいから洗うんだよ。砂だらけなんだから。
武器のないお前が暴れ
So a romantic triangle within a romantic triangle, huh?
服の中にもカニがいるようだ
Because they're being putting her with Kira.
本当だ。
Have they?
And now they're doing this. Yeah. Especially in the next on they have I think they had them hugging together.
I think that was last time.
Yeah, last time, yeah.
Yeah,
ほら
because that's what makes Flay flip out.
自分のはバッグごと流されたんだろう。
MREs. How tasty.
I mean, could just be a packet of saltine crackers.
Which MREs they tend to have, so yeah.
私を縛っておかなくていいのかよ。
I'm surprised they're doing so much of this one episode, considering how much else we have to skip over so quickly.
なんで笑うんだよ。
いや、懲りないやつだと思ってね。銃を奪おうとするなら殺すしかなくなる。
Just to let you
だ
know.
からよせよ。そんなことは。ヘリオポリスでも
Yes, because I'm the superior one
せ
here.
っかく助かった命だろ。
I mean, he is a coordinator.
Yeah.
And he just beat her when she had 2 guns. And he had a knife.
ヘリオポリスは俺たちだってあんなことになるとは思ってなかったさ。
何を今さらどう言おうがコロニーを攻撃して壊したのは事実だろうが。
中立と言っておきながらオーブがヘリオポリスであんなものを作っていたことも事実だ。
Which is also
俺たちは
true.
プラントを守るために戦ってるんだ。あんなものを見逃すわけにはいかない。
それは地球だって同じだ。私たちだってお前たちが攻めてきて地球をめちゃくちゃにするから。
俺の母はユニウスセブンにいた。ただの農業プラントだった。何の罪もない人たちに一瞬のうちに死んだんだぞ。子供まで。それで黙っていられるか。
There's something like 7 million people or something like that died on. Or 7,000? 700,000? It's a lot. It's a lot of people. I can't remember how many.
よそう。ここでお前とそんな話をしても仕方がない。
I mean, you can't pilot that thing, so don't even think about it.
Well, I mean,
Again,
again, it's like Ramus, right? She could possibly like move it around and everything. She just wouldn't be any good in a fight.
あ、いや、まさか。けど、降下して、すぐ移動で。
At this point in the show, the rest of the Lucreset team is in a different base, and he was being transported to that base, which is why they're out here by themselves. He's hoping to get rescued or picked up, and obviously she crash landed during a fight.
Don't even try, girl.
"なら撃てよ。その引き金を引いているのは俺だ。俺はザフトのパイロットだ。機体に手をかけさせるわけにはいかない。どうしてもやるというのなら、俺はお前を殺す。
I enjoy the curved blade design too. Very surprising the gun went off, considering we did a close-up of her finger not even being close to the trigger. Like, great gun discipline. By the way, she got rescued at some point.
Apparently, yeah.
アスラン。かなり待て。どうするつもりだ。
離せ。これでは沈む。オーブの すぐそばだというのに。
The first time that we ever see the Archangel get very seriously damaged, it's off screen. It just starts an episode extremely damaged in the middle of a fight.
これほど腕を上げてるなんてキラー。
ご覧いただいている映像は今まさにこの瞬間我が国の領海からわずか20キロの地点で行われている戦争の模様。
This is Orb, by the way.
接近中の地球軍艦艇およびザフト軍に通告する。機関らは欧部連合首長国の領海に接近中である。我が国は武装した艦船および航空機モビルスーツ等の事前協議なき領域への侵入を一切認めない。速やかに転進せよ。繰り返す。速やかに進路を変更せよ。
この状況を見ていてよくそんなことが言えるな。アークエンジェルは今からオーブの領海に入る。ただ攻撃はするな。
なんだお前は。
お前こそなんだ。お前では判断できんと言うなら行政府へつなげ。父を
Get my father.
望みなら朝を呼べ。私はカガリユランアサーだ。
カガリ。
So I guess according to that one commenter, he's more like Libyan Rambo than Egyptian Rambo, as we've been calling him.
計画に従わない機関らに対し我が国はこれより自衛権を行使するものとする。
さて、とんだ茶番だが致し方ありますまい。公式発表の文章は
すでに走行の第2案が。
いいでしょう。こちらはお任せする。あの船とモルゲンレートは私が。
It's amazing what we fast forward through and what we don't.
今さら言っても仕方ありますまい。
Morgan Road is the
Resident of the
company.
Neutrals,
No,
I
no,
guess?
no. It's a company that made the Gundams.
ご存知の通り
Remember, Orb made the Gundams.
はい。
公式には機関は我が軍に追われ領海から離脱したということになっておる。
こんな発表素直に信じろっていうのか。
我らが中立を保つのはナチュラル、コーディネーターどちらも敵としたくないからだ。が力なくばその意志を押し通すこともできず、だからといって力を持てばそれもまた狙われる。
だがこれがオーブの正式回答だという以上、ここで俺たちがいくら嘘だと騒いだところでどうにもならないということは確かだろう。何を。
ともあれ、
My boy Yasek with a scar that he wears completely by choice.
だからはいそうですかって帰るわけ。カーペンタリアから圧力をかけてもらうが、すぐに解決しないようなら潜入す
I
る。
believe Carpentaria is a zaft base like in Australia.
これまでの戦闘データとパイロットであるコーディネーターキラヤマトの
Because I believe the implication is that Orb is Japan.
我が国は希望している。
I had a lot of like circumstantial evidence to think that.
第6作業班は13番デッキより作業を開始してください。機関区を
They're infiltrating Orb. If you couldn't figure out that was going on there.
Yeah. To get to the Archangel, right?
おう。
Unclear.
こっち。あなたに見てもらいたいのは。
A new Gundam.
これ
No,
そう驚くこともないでしょ。
just mobile suits.
あなたもヘリオポリスでストライクを見たんだから。
これが中立国オーブという国の本当の姿だ。
カガリ。
Also, if you remember from the first movie, where Kigali says, "Father, you betrayed us." Now you know who her father is.
Yeah.
これはオーブの守りだ。お前も知っているだろ。オーブは他国を侵略しない。他国の侵略を許さない。そして他国の争いに介入しない。その意志を貫くための力さ。
見事に平穏ですね、街中は。
昨日自国の領海であれだけの騒ぎがあったって。
Is it just infiltrating orb?
中立国だからですかね。
平和の国か。
Don't worry, there's nothing really written on those. Those are just clippings from the news.
ヤマトご夫妻ですな。
Kira's parents.
二度とお目にかからないという約束でしたのに。
運命のいたずらか。子供らが出会って
Oh, so that's
ありますまい。
The children met. What could that mean?
I mean, they said that they were naturals, but they made a coordinator. So I guess Kira's artificially made?
Well, technically all coordinators are artificially made.
How's that?
We know they're genetically made.
When did they say that?
I believe we had a conversation about it. I believe you questioned where coordinators came from last episode. Last movie.
Oh, they broke up.
Well, not quite. Or I guess we skip that. Sorry. Literally what happens next in the scene is that Kira basically gives her maybe we should spend some time apart. So. Remember when I said Athrun made Birdie?
Uh-huh.
Birdie doesn't know not to go back to Athrun. Kind of messes things up when you're infiltrating.
なんだそりゃ。
へえ、ロボット鳥だ。
ダリー。ああ、もうどこ行っちゃった？アスラ。
Hey, remember Kigali spent all that time with Athrun too? Is it yours? The bird I made for you.
Oi, 行くぞ。昔友達に。
Oh, he doesn't recognize him?
No, he does.
大事な友達にもらった大事なものなんだ。そう。
They're just not saying it out loud. You know, the bits you won't want to say out loud.
Okay, so if they have the mobile suits, who's gonna pilot them though? Are they making more coordinators to pilot them?
Lessons rule? My problem is I don't know how far away from an answer we are, so I don't want to give it anything away.
了解を出ればザフトの攻撃始まります。
敵艦隊より離脱艦あり、艦特定足付きです。出撃する。
今日こそ足つきを落とすぞ。レーダーに反応。
Yeah, despite being best friends, they have been constantly, the next time I see you, I'll kill you. That's why Kira said my best friend gave this thing to me. You know, trying to play up the connection.
まだよ。3回。
Sorry, having watched so much Gunbuster and Gurren Lagann and whatnot, I appreciate the flying kicks. Or the lightning kicks, as some people would say.
Yeah. He didn't kill him, he should have, but I still think that kid needs to kill him though.
Yazik? You leave my boy Yazik alone. I loved Ellie, and I really feel bad about that, but leave my boy Yazik alone. You didn't get to spend anywhere as much time with Ellie as I did. I feel really bad. Cole is one of the main kids, by the way, on the Archangel. He had this whole arc about wanting to learn how to fight and help everybody out. That's why he's in a fighter plane now. Dead end on the energy bars, though.
Then just destroy them already.
Best friends, man. It's a hard move.
Well, you're gonna have to keep fighting the same fight over and over again, so just destroy them already. Why are you in shock? She attacked you.
He. It's Nicole. Previous to this, they had this whole scene about why you fight, why do you fight, and they both have family that died on Janus 7. Oh yeah, sorry, we also spent a lot of time with their parents. And, yeah, you can see a lot of Nicole here. Also, it's the dumbest change in a death scene. Apparently in the TV original one, the one I didn't even see, Kira swings at him. Like, literally, he kills him on purpose. In this, he's holding it sideways. It's implied Nicole walked into the blade.
Again, Archangel gets damaged.
They're merging like lots of fight scenes together.
Yeah.
It's Durka. I believe his Gundam's called Buster, if memory serves.
Yeah, for not being a coordinator, that fighter pilot is pretty good.
Guns are right at you.
Fire.
Nope.
Oh, he got out.
Durka surrenders.
No. The thing is that this guy is superior to humans, so if they take him prisoner, he's gonna escape or probably kill them from the inside. You can't take them prisoners. I'm sorry to say that. Now can you? Unless there's an anti-coordinator.
Hold on one second. Goodbye, Toll. Sorry, Toll has a girlfriend back on the ship who's managing communications. You don't actually see that here, apparently. But she got a front row seat to Toll being dead. That's right, Atherin can bust a nut too. Self-destruct mode activated. Remember, Kira had his giant hole cut into his cockpit, so he was open to that. That's Ha, by the way. Ha being Toll's girlfriend, and the name I often get confused for Fra.
So a rescue mission to find Kira.
Well, I should also point out Kigali was wearing an admiral's uniform there, because technically Kigali is an admiral of Orb.
Pretty young for an admiral.
Yep, well, she's also the president's daughter, so take that for what you will. Wrecked Gundam. Melted seat. I want to point out that what happens here, not specifically in this scene, but this part, we got a comment saying it was dumb to be angry about. So, preface that.
ここはオーブの飛行艇の中だ。我々は浜に倒れていたお前を発見し、収容した。
オーブ。中立のオーブが俺に何の用だ。それとも今は地球軍か。
聞きたいことがある。ストライクをやったのはお前。
For all the times I've ever been in a hospital, I've never taken out my own IV.
パイロットはどうした？お前のように脱出したのか？それとも見つからないんだ。
By all accounts, he was unprotected in the face of a massive explosion. He should be dead.
俺が殺した。殺した。俺が。
They literally melted the seat.
組みついて自爆した。脱出できたとは思えない。それしかもう手が。
He was literally back to the wall, to the open explosion that he had no way to get away from. Also, Atherin just killed his best friend, so.
Told you they were setting it up.
Setting what up?
Kagil and Kira.
Kira's dead.
No body though.
There's a mystery that's been set up here that the obviously 7-hour compress isn't letting you know. There's the idea that Kira has another family member, a kid, that was insinuated back at Orb. And we don't know at this point in the show that we're currently watching right now who that other kid would be, that other family member that even Kira doesn't know about.
Another coordinator?
Well, specifically, like,
わからない
it was somebody,
sibling, or-
yeah, like a sibling separated at birth sort of scenario. Because the obvious thing would you would guess like Athrun, right?
一緒に来いと何度も言った
But my thing at the time was that
あいつは
the president guy says they just met, and Athrun and Kira have known each other from since childhood.
なのにあいつは
Does not-
聞かなくて俺たちと戦って仲間を傷つけてニコルを殺した
Again, I hate it. I hate it that they made Nicole kill himself.
お前が敵なんだ今のあいつはもうなら倒すしかないじゃないかバカ野郎なんでそんなことになるなんでそんなことしなきゃならないんだよあいつはニコルを殺したピアノが好きでまだ15でそれでもプラントを守るために戦ってたあいつを
Again, I hate that you didn't even get to know Nicole.
なのになんで殺されなきゃならないそれも友達のお前に
Fucking hate this.
殺されたから殺して殺して
Because he's not dead.
Yeah, he
course.
should have fucking died. I even did the math. The explosion that melted a fucking Gundam pilot seat, even if it was like... He should have fucking died. The wrong kid died.
ねえキラは
MIA 戦闘中
And again, Toll's dead too.
トールもね詳しいことは他のやつに聞いてよ
ちょっと待ってよだからキラはどこ
だからわかんないんだよ生きてんのかどうかさえ
ちょっと何よそれは
多分死んだんだよもういいだろう
死んだ
Also on the Archangel, they are quick to label you KIA. Technically, Kira is currently MIA, but they keep throwing around the word KIA.
迎えが到着した
He's gonna escape. You know that.
ほら迎えだ
Escape from what?
ザフトの軍
From Orb.
Orb's neutral. Orb can't keep you
Dude.
hostile. Orb's a neutral territory.
大丈夫か
Yeah, they can still keep you a prisoner though.
No, they won't, though.
変なやつだな
They've literally just said they're here to pick you up.
ありがとうっていうのかな
Technically, Orb rescued him. They found him and rescued him. What are you gonna keep him prisoner for?
ちょっと待ってハウメアの守り石だお前危なっかしい
Have you ever heard of Hamua before?
守ってもらえ
キラを殺したのにか
もう
It's funny.
誰も死んでほしくない
It's like a
Isn't that the thing
fertility.
you
It's
get?
literally it's a fertility goddess that also left humanity behind. So it's very much the coordinator story as well. Josh A is the Alaskan base, by the way. It just popped up on screen. I didn't know you saw it.
アークエンジェルかよもやたどり着くとはなハルバートンの執念が守ってでもいるんでしょうかね守ってきたのはコーディネーター
By the way, don't worry about that other than the fact it says race Mongoloid. That's concerning. But also the rest of it is just copy and paste news articles.
幸いであった GAT シリーズは今後の我々
These are new Gundams, by the way. If you haven't seen them yet.
しかしそれがコーディネーターの子供に操られていたのでは話にならない確か
So
に
he's back, I guess? Because
He's
they're
back.
talking about him pilot Kira. They're talking about him piloting it.
I think it's in retrospect.
お分かりになります
Oh, her.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, you see what's happening? Kira was on Earth in the middle of a massive explosion and woke up on the plant. On one of the plants.
He was taken prisoner.
No. That dude, some blind guy, picked him up and brought him to space. And by the way, that's not abridged either. That's exactly as much time as they gave it in the show. He just wakes up in Lacus's garden, and the blind guy says, "Yeah, I found you, brought you here."
アスラと戦って
See how big this explosion was? He didn't get away from it. He was fucking in it. Sorry, I know I don't have the time to harp on it, but it's fucking stupid. He should have died. You heard maybe like 1 second of it, but Operation Spit Break is happening right now.
An offensive by the SAF.
Yeah, it was like a mystery thing because they never said what it was about until it actually happened. But they keep like talking about it.
Oh, they're attacking Alaska?
That's the thing. There was a lot of setup before here. Yeah, we should just say there was a lot of setup before here that they were supposed to be attacking Panama. Bad Girl, Flay, and Moo are being taken off the ship and being reassigned elsewhere.
They're gonna die. They're not in the hero ship.
Well, the hero ship is staying here. They're being sent elsewhere. I think, like to Panama and whatnot. By the way, have you figured out who you've been drawn as yet?
Him?
Yep. You're Moo Laflaga.
Not bad. Oh, I see.
Yeah, we skip over a lot of character development here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the blind guy here is supposed to be our substitute for Doan. I'm not sure. Oh, you're a coordinator for one.
自分の向かうべき場所、せねばならぬことはやがておのずと知れましょう。あなた方はシードを持つ者ゆえに。ですね。
Oh, so they know about the seed. Whatever the hell that is.
It's also that Atherin's fiance is shielding Kira from everything.
ここを並んで自分の番が来たらそれを見せて乗るんだ。いいな。俺ちょっと忘れもん。
So he's not following orders.
Why is the control room empty?
Because they're gonna. Oh, he's gonna die.
You think I'd have you drawn as someone that instantly dies in movie 2? That would have been a waste of money. Something you also miss out here in the movie is the figuring out of which council people are loyal to Patrick and which ones aren't. Yeah, there's been all this setup up to now that they were going to attack Panama.
No, but I mean that I think the Earth forces knew that, and that's why they're evacuating.
Well, they
'Cause they're
just
setting
ordered
up a
them to
trap.
launch everything to counterattack.
Yeah, but I think they seem to be like setting up a trap. Maybe a nuke.
僕は行くよ
I would do
ど
that.
ちらへ行かれますの？
地球
Just remember that for the previous conversation about what to do in the Middle East.
あなたを一人
Yeah, but they're attacking my base. They're not attacking civilian targets. This is all military. Let them come in and nuke the
ここ
bastards.
でただ見ていることももうできない
Makes sense.
Well, I'm glad I had you draw it as Earth Alliance then. Because I fucking hate you as Alliance people.
アズラエルの情報は確かなようだな
Well, hell, Flay is also wandering around.
エンジェルはどこなの？私の
何もできないって言って何もしなかったらもっと何もできない何も変わらない何も終わらないから
またザフトと戦われるのですか？では地球軍と
僕たちは
Don't have to pay the voice actor as much if we have him shake his head no.
少し分かった気がするから
わかりましたわ。
Cyclops. Also, Rao is here.
久しぶりだな、ムーラフラガ。せっかく会えたのに残念だが、今は貴様に付き合っている時間がなくてな。ここにいるということは、貴様も地球軍ではすでに用済みか。落ちたものだな。
Oh, that's a big old hint.
キラはこれに着替えてください。あちらに連絡を。ラクスクラインは平和の歌を歌います。
Fuck you too, Lacus. Fuck you too.
おやおや、これはこれは。
No, don't look so interested. It literally goes nowhere. That's still one of my unanswered fucking questions.
Oh, she captured him.
Yeah, I mean the whole why does she hear her... It's literally a she hears her father's voice thing, and I don't understand why.
どうぞ。
Because I'll just spoil that for you right now. It's not fucking answered. So don't even bother giving yourself headspace.
ガンダム
ちょっと違いますわね。これは ZGMF-X10A フリーダムです。でもガンダムの方が強そうでいいですわね。
Because we're gunning it.
ダッシュした
So it's a Gundam that is not a Gundam.
性能も取り込み
No, it's
ザラシ
it's a zaft made Gundam.
開発されたザフト軍の最新鋭の機体だそうですわ。
これを
You're a fucking traitor.
今のあなたには必要な力と思いましたので。思いだけでも力だけでもダメなのです。だからキラの願いを
So now he has to save her.
これは不
Go
要
rescue mission.
So Zaft made a
重い
even stronger Gundam than the original Gundams. And she's given it to him.
くそ君は誰
私はラクスクラインですわ。キラヤマト。
God, I went to liking her so much to disliking her so much. Not even specifically for this. I don't like her for this, but you'll see. You won't agree with me, I'm sure, but you'll see. I don't think it's been said, but Freedom is like 4 times stronger than the actual Gundams. because it's got like a limitless power source.
おいなんだリーダーが動いてるエアロックを止めろ本部へ通報スクランブルだ誰だ貴様止まれ
Also, the implication that people are there willing to help Lacus give this thing away.
I mean, there's this other faction that started the war, so I guess that's a real enemy, I guess.
やめろ僕を行かせてくれ
こいつ早い
Ah, if only he was red. Athrun is also heading back to the plants to be set up with a new Gundam that's happening. Just throwing that out there. So you see Kira steal the Gundam. It's like, wait, isn't that the one Athrun's supposed to get?
Yeah, it's a trap.
Sorry, can you say that in like a more fishman way?
It's a trap. It's a trap.
どっかのバカが一気に突っ込んでこようとしているわ大変
See,
That's
we
a
made it back.
massive-
あなた一体何を転属は
そんなことはどうだっていいそれよりすぐに撤退だ いいかよく聞けよ本部の地下にサイクロプスが仕掛けられている作動したら基地から半径10キロは溶鉱炉になるってサイズの代物が
It's a nuke. Yeah.
It's not really a nuke, it's something else. Also on scene this whole time is that the command staff of the base, there we go. They're literally sitting on the bottom of the ocean right now, as far away as possible. They've been waiting for Zaft to get deep enough into Alaska base.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It makes perfect sense.
They've been monitoring how many gates they've gone through and everything like that.
こういうのが作戦なの戦争だから私たち軍人だからそう言われたらそうやって死ななきゃいけないの
The shitty thing is that they didn't tell them that they were going to do this, that they had to hold the line.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why I said I hate you fucking Alliance people. Because you're like, let's nuke it, like you're gonna sacrifice your own men.
本艦はこれより現戦闘海域を放棄離脱します領艦に打電我に続け機関全速取り舵ワン部の左翼を突破します
I will also share this tidbit. Everyone here, or just about everyone here, is from one part of the Alliance. So they're really sacrificing one part of the Alliance to this. I think it's the Atlantic Alliance.
The infamous canopy shot. Great shot.
Sometimes it happens. Not this time, but sometimes it does happen. It's the freedom.
こちらキラヤマト援護します今のうちに体感をキラだよ
Still surprising that Sai is happy to see him, even though you didn't see the Sai getting cucked scene. So Nakira is in seed mode with a 4-time strength Gundam.
But he's not shooting to kill. And though that guy should get killed.
Leave my boy alone.
He's a murderer.
They're all murderers.
Yeah, he killed innocent civilians.
I mean, technically, the Earth Alliance is guilty of killing 7 million civilians, so fuck it.
Don't tell them that.
Don't tell them?
No, let them blow up.
This is a fucking
That's how you
war
win the
crime,
war.
too.
What? The blowing your own base to destroy the enemy?
Well, fuck it. I'm not going to agree with you no matter what. Let's just not argue this point. I guess the thing to remember here is, more importantly, Kira wants as few people to die as possible. Classic neck dodge.
Kill the fucker.
Leave my boy alone. Specifically because he accidentally killed Nicole by chopping him in half, so now he's learned to cut low. Classic 2-key turn.
It would have if Kira had not intervened.
I at least appreciate that we're both rooting for...
These guys are Blue Cosmos, right?
There you go. You recognize the phrase. I'm saying at least I appreciate... Oh, wait. That's what I say. Not quite like a nuke. Again, the thing is that they were intentionally sacrificing their own men.
That part is the part that I don't agree with.
And again, I appreciate that we both rally for two different sides, so we can have these debates.
No shit.
君にはもう一つ悪いニュースがある。極秘開発されていた最新鋭のモビルスーツが一機
That new Gundam we made? Stolen.
それの手引きをしたのがラクス・クラインだということ。
Your fiance.
今国防委員会は大騒ぎなんだ。そんな、まさかラクス、そんな。
Again, that empty-headed ditz, who would have thought?
お話ししなくちゃならないことがたくさんありますね。僕もお聞きしたいことがたくさんあります。
Weirdly, they showed him rescuing that guy at the end of the explosion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
There's a suit. You saw the suit is on the side, is like decapitated, but still there.
Yeah. They didn't show it. That guy just dies, by the way. That's a zaft soldier that he saved. He gets out, has like a word or two with Kira, and just dies.
欲しいのは冷静かつ客観的な報告だ。クラインらの行方はスパイを手引きしたラクス・クライン、共に逃亡し行方のわからぬその父、漏洩していたスピットブレイクの攻撃目標、子供でもわかる簡単な図式だぞ。クラインが裏切り者なのだ。カナーバ以下、クラインと親交の深かった議員は全て拘束しろ。司法局を動かしてもいい。
Again, they don't show it in these movies so far, but Lacus's dad is the former head of the council, who Zala here, Patrick, replaced.
父上。なんだそれは。失礼いたしました。ザラ議長閣下。
状況は認識したな。
あ、いえ、しかし私には信じられません。
There's also, I want to throw this out there. I'm pro-Zaft, but I'm also anti-Patrick Zala. Just want to make that clear.
フリーダムのダッシュはこの直後に行われた。証拠がなければ誰が彼女になど嫌疑をかける。ラクス・クラインはすでにお前の婚約者ではない。まだ非公開だが、 国家反逆罪で指名手配中の逃亡犯だぞ。お前は奪取された X1OA フリーダムの
We can't argue. She's guilty of treason.
および接触したと思われる人物、施設、すべての排除に当たれ。交渉で X09A ジャスティスを受領し、準備が終わり次第任務に就くのだ。
That's right. We made 2 Gundams.
Of course, you don't just make the one.
So Kira's got freedom, and Atheron's got justice.
X1OA フリーダムおよび X09A ジャスティスはニュートロンジャマーキャンセラーを搭載した機体なのだ。
ニュートロンジャマーキャンセラー、そんな、なぜそんなものを？ プラントは全ての核を放棄すると。
勝つために必要となったのだ。あのエネルギーが。お前の任務は重大だぞ。わかるな。心してかかれ。
The Earth is covered with neutron jammers. Like they drop them like bombs when they tunnel underneath the ground, so the neutron jammers prevent nuclear energy and communications and stuff like that. Boy, I hope all these people looking for Lacus for her treason would be able to find her. It would take some sort of, I don't know, hiding genius to be able to hide from an entire colony that you're currently still in. By the way, at this point, Atherin doesn't know that Kira's still alive. He just seen the back of a guy wearing a Zaft uniform. He doesn't know that that's actually Kira in that video. Because when you're on the run from the government, right? This is how you hide, right?
I think she's trying to make a point, though.
Cool.
I didn't say it was an effective way to make a point, but I think she's trying to make a point. She wants him to defect as well, so that both of them team up and defeat the real enemies, which I guess is Blue Cosmos.
I don't know. My read would be government.
Yeah, but which government?
Both? All government?
No, I think it's a specific faction that want to defeat.
No, I mean, that feels like to me the message just really is people don't do this, governments do this.
Oh. I mean, yeah.
お聞きになったからここへいらしたのではないのですか？
では本当なのですか？スパイを手引きしたというのは。なぜそんなことを？
スパイの手引きなどしてはおりません。キラにお渡ししただけですわ。新しい剣を。
You know, that guy that killed your friend.
キラに必要で、キラが持つのがふさわしいものだから。
キラ。何を言ってるんです？キラは。あいつは。
あなたが殺しましたか？
You think?
大丈夫です。キラは生きています。
All you did was set off a nuke right in his face. But, you know,
一体どういう企みなんです？
they don't call him Jesus Yamato for no reason.
そんなバカな話を。あいつが生きてるはずはない。
You think, Catherine, you did your best.
キラもあなたと戦ったと言っていましたわ。言葉は信じませんか？ではご自分でご覧になったものは戦場で久しぶりにお戻りになったプラントで何もご覧になりませんでしたか？
ラクス。
アスランが信じて戦うものは何ですか？いただいた勲章ですか？お父様の命令ですか？
Technically, as a soldier, and my dad is a commanding officer, yes.
そして私も敵だというのならば私を撃ちますか？ザフトのアスランザラ。
俺は。
There's a lot more that actually happened in that theater that they didn't show. That's it. There's a fight scene
where they have to, other people come after her and he has to help her escape. I figured as much.
I know it's listed in the changes. I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
Admiral Kigali. I think for context, they've just returned to Orb. You bitch.
Why?
More so something she will do, but I also... There's like...
Either she's one of the bad guys.
Look, obviously we both consider different people to be the bad guys, so... I consider the Earth Alliance to be the bad guys. You think Zaft are the bad guys, so... It's already the position we're in. I will also, I guess, further explain that Blue Cosmos is an Earth Alliance thing. It's not a Zaft thing. Blue Cosmos is anti-coordinator, so obviously it wouldn't make sense for there to be Zaft Blue Cosmos people.
アラスカで調子に乗った奴らの足元を救っておかねば、議長もプラントも危ない。
Memory serves, this is Panama. Really thought you fucked us up at Alaska, did you? We're a space-based power. We can mobilize anywhere on Earth.
I think the idea was that they were going to destroy the bulk of the enemy forces in one go.
一瞬で失われる。パナマが攻撃されてるって本当ですか？ああ、らしいな。
I think the thing is also Panama is the site of one of the last or few remaining. I don't know what you call it. It's like a swoop thing that allows easier transport into space.
Yeah, I know. The ramps, yeah.
Yeah. Because Kaohsiung, the very first place in the very first episode that's being attacked, is also the site of one of those. That's why it was being attacked. Also, yeah, Earth Alliance mobile suits now. I guess they didn't show it. Your question? Sorry.
Oh.
No, it's not the same thing. It's like an EMP. It's not the Cyclops bomb again. Your question about naturals being able to pilot mobile suits. Kira does a thing when they are back at Orb where he makes a program that allows naturals to be able to control mobile suits almost as good as coordinators. Because there's a whole training thing where you see Orb pilots. Not as good as coordinators. Sorry. See, now you see. Now you see the comeuppance for the rage people feel for these events going off. You tried to kill all of us at fucking Alaska, you son of a bitches.
あの時私に撃たれていても、あのまま見逃していても君は死んでいた。
Yeah, if I had left you there, you'd be dead.
でもその直後に君は死ぬ。兵に撃たれてね。気に入らぬと言っても、あとはその銃口を自分に向けて引き金を引くくらいしかできることはないな。弾は入っているのだろう。
お前は一人でも戦う気か？
できることと望むことをするだけです。
So yeah, you're drawn as Mulaflaga, I'm drawn as Rao the Crest.
Yeah.
Kisaka! かがりさん、最後通告だと？ジョシュアが成功してもパナマを落とされては何の意味もないではないか。パナマポートの補給路が断たれれば月基地は早々に干上がる。
Yep, she got away, by the way.
オーブはどうなっておる？再三徴用要請はしておるが、頑固者の渦見なら朝め、どうあっても首を縦に振らん。
おや、中立だからですか？いけませんね、それは。皆命をかけて戦っているという。
He's a character called Azrael, who has been only like name dropped like once or twice by Rao the Crest, ironically. It's like, why does Rao, a coordinator, know Azrael, who is part of Earth Alliance?
Because either they're the same person, that's why he wears the mask, or his brother. One a natural, one a coordinator.
There's been like a subtext of Rao may not be working for Patrick. That's not expressed during the movie. There's also been many scenes of Rao taking drugs and like shaky hands kind of thing going on. I don't think we've seen here either.
No, we haven't.
どういう茶番だそれは。どうあっても世界を二分したいか。大西洋連邦は。
Right, Earth Alliance is now saying that Orb can't be neutral. They have to join Earth Alliance or die? I don't know. Surrender, whatever.
現在このオーブへ向け地球連合軍艦隊が進行中です。地球軍に組みし共にプラントを撃つ道を取らぬというのならばザフト支援国とみなす。それが理由です。
なんだそれは。
You're not with us, you're against us.
オーブ政府はあくまで中立の立場を貫くとし、現在も外交努力を続行中ですが。
It has never been said, I don't feel like, but Orb is also a place where coordinators and naturals can live together. That's why Heliopolis and Orb Space Station had Kira, coordinator, and naturals, which is all the other kids from. Oh, Durka in the prison cell. Or the brig, whatever.
道を選ばねばなりません。オーブのこの事態に際し、我々はどうすべきなのか。命ずるものもなく、また私もあなた方に対しその権限を持ち。
After Alaska, they've officially
deserted.
Yeah,
deserted. I figured as much.
Well, like I said, they're not saying the obvious things out loud, so I'm just trying to say as many of the obvious things as I can. These three girls are the ones I was talking about doing the training in the Orb mobile suits that you didn't see. Oh, the last time we came here, because this is the second time we visited Orb, all the kids' parents are here. From Heliopolis, because they're from Orb, so...
Yeah.
どうしましたか？
マルキア様。
It comes out of nowhere. This is a flashback to a previous encounter. You can tell because Flay is there. Haw thinks Durka is responsible for killing Toll. She goes in there, tries to stab him in the head with a knife. Flay comes in, as per her previous conversation, oh, we're killing coordinators, pulls a gun, and tries to shoot him.
この船また戦闘に出るの。オーブに地球軍が攻めてくるから。だからあんたもういいって。釈放。
ってちょっと待てよ。お前も戦うのかよ。
私はアークエンジェルの CIC 担当よ。それにオーブは私の国なんだから。
要求は不当なものであり従うことはできない。オーブ連合首長国は今後も中立を貫く意志に変わりはない。いや、さすが。
Three random people. I wonder why they're being shown.
期待を裏切らない人ですね。本当のところ要求飲まれちゃったらどうしようかなと思っていたんですよ。
Oh, so now they have their own Gundams as well.
Oh, no,
everybody has Gundams.
You remember from before when we saw the guys, the Admiralty, sitting at the board and they're looking at, I said, oh, there's 3 new Gundams.
Yeah.
That's what it is, Earth Alliance. Got Gundams now.
なぜオーブと地球軍が。
ザフトなんか俺が大きくなったら全部やっつけてやる。
I also think the implication is that when we saw the 3 new Gundams on spec, that's before we saw Zaft has a 4 times strength Gundam, so...
何黄昏れてんの艦長さんが。結局体感は11名。みんなすごいじゃないの。ジョシュアがよっぽど頭に来たのかね。
少佐はなんで戻ってらしたんですか？ジョシュアで。
今さら聞かれるとは思わなかったぜ。
Yeah, I figured this was gonna happen.
There's also been other scenes where
私はモビルアーマー乗りは嫌いです。
あ、俺今モビルスーツのパイロット。
also unseen Orb fixed the strike, and he's now piloting the strike. I'm gonna say, she also has a necklace that looks like a coffin, because apparently she has a former lover that was a pilot who's dead.
So it's Gundam versus Gundam, I take it.
At this point, the Duel is the only zaft Gundam left, which is the guy you want to keep seeing dying, my boy, Yazik. Atherin is supposed to be getting into a Gundam at some point, because we saw in space. Kira has the Freedom, which is the 4 times Gundam.
Yeah.
And you just saw 3 Earth Alliance Gundams, and now Earth Alliance has mobile suits, Zaft has mobile suits, Orb has mobile suits.
Everybody has mobile suits.
More drugs.
Ah, so that's what allows them to match the coordinators.
I mean, unless they got the program that Kira made that Orb has. Again, could have been the infiltration thing that we saw before. For me, the infiltration goal is still unclear. But it's also unseen Rao was there, getting information too. One of the orders that the Earth Alliance guys have is not to attack Morgan Rhett, which is, you know, the people that made the Gundams on the Orb side. Duo Maxwell would be proud. Running theme, these guys don't have good teamwork. Sturka and the Buster. Also unseen, they took the Buster and they repaired it. Also unseen, even the TV show, how the fuck Durko walked in and got the Buster. Out of my head. And now you know what the justice looks like. Cool intro.
キラヤマトだな。アスラ。どういうつもりだ。ザフトがこの戦闘に介入するのか。軍からはこの戦闘に対して。
Because technically Athrun is the only Zaft person here, right? Yasik isn't on scene. Durka isn't acting on Zaft's behalf.
The drugs. They have a limit too.
Yeah. That's why I was also pointing out that they're like Gundams that were introduced before the new Zaft ones. Because again, the new Zaft ones just don't run out of energy. These are the old school, like Durkas and Yaziks. The order to retreat. No.
Yeah. Now he attacks you to avenge his friend.
You know, I wouldn't have had a problem with that. Boom, sniper. How many times these shows would be finished if there was a sniper on board?
Again, the strategy of luring your enemy to destroy them, good. Attacking neutral countries because you can't get your way.
The other element is that Orb has one of those space things. Yeah, so they want that because they're launching an attack
on the plants.
No, they're launching an attack on two different locations. Both of them have the space launch things. They want both of them. That's what Azrael proposed. Why go for one if we can go for two?
So they failed here, but they got the other one.
Well, no, they just retreated. They're not done. Yeah, that would have been a conversation you'd know about if we had gone back to the bridge of that Azrael's on, but we didn't for some reason. Because they only pulled back because their Gundams had to go back and recharge.
Now he stabs him. He's like, oh, hey.
Curved blade.
Yeah.
Still can't get past the Girl Scout uniform. My best friend made it for me.
Yeah, Asura.
He's the real one, huh?
That's even flippant me has to admit it's an emotional scene. I get it. Oh wow! Just skipping right through.
もうお分かりであろう。オーブが失われるのももはや時間の問題だ。が、たとえオーブを失っても失ってはならないものがある。 地球軍の背後にはブルーコスモスの名手ムルター・アズラエルの姿がある。
Azrael is the leader of Blue Cosmos, even though in a previous scene he said, "No, I'm not."
Of course, he's gonna lie.
Well, he's in a boardroom saying, "We're not Blue Cosmos." Or, I'm sorry, a board member said, "We're not Blue Cosmos," and he's there, assumingly so.
I mean, the hateful organization who wants to kill an entire group of people makes for the perfect enemy.
Well, you're not done with that yet, but I think that's probably going to be in movie 3, so... Future revelations.
Of course, we still have this other girl who's a prisoner.
What girl? Oh, you mean Flay and Zaft?
Flay, yeah, Flay and Zaft, yeah.
Sorry, I thought you meant somebody in the scene. I'm like, who's prisoner here?
So りゃこのままカーペンタリアに戻ってもいいんだろうけどさ、どうせ敵対してんのは地球軍なんだし。ザフトのアスランザラッカ、彼女には分かってたんだな。アスラン、国、軍の命令に従って敵を撃つ。それでいいんだと思っていた。
What's your job?
それでこんな戦争が一日でも早く終わるならと。でも俺たちは本当は何とどう戦わなくちゃいけなかったんだ。
Again, that's the major theme of Seed, as first introduced by Waltfeld.
みんなで一緒に探せばいいよ。それもさ。
I feel like they had a much deeper conversation about this in the hangar at one point before this. It's also why I'm implying that they've skipped a bunch of shit. Because what they're about to do, it feels like there was a lot of setup for, and it's gonna just appear out of nowhere. It's a big reveal.
Oh, so Kira is his brother.
Her. Kira's her brother. You forgot that Kagale was a girl? Again?
No, I said that he was her brother, yeah.
No, you said his brother. That's what I was confused. That's why I said her. No, you did. Looks as the person who has to listen to you every reaction. I know what you're talking about. No, I believe that picture got shown somewhere earlier along the line, so that would have been the answer to the question. Also really plays heavily against your Kigali and Kira setup.
No, I mean, But it's more like, it seems more like
I will defend this by also saying that I also preferred Kira and Kigali together. So we were on the same ship there.
It's a Return of the Jedi thing.
It's a Luke and Leia thing.
Yeah.
Except that Kigali never actually kissed Kira.
True. Or had sex with him.
Well, that didn't happen to Luke or Leia either.
So now they're gonna have to fight Zaft and the Earth Alliance.
種は飛んだ。これでよい。オーブも世界も奴らのいいようにはさせん。
You'll figure they set the whole fucking island to blow. That's why I meant it comes out of like nowhere, because I don't feel like they set it up as much as they did in the show. Use that as a fucking thumbnail. That's why she's crying. She hasn't been crying this whole time just because she's leaving her dad behind. They set it up. That it was going to be a self-destruction sacrifice.
Might as well make it bigger and take everyone with them.
Well, they also did the whole thing of like ordering an evacuation of Orb and everything, so it was just the leaders together. I was going to say this in the beginning. It's a shame that you're not seeing the openings.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a lot of naked Flay in the openings. Possibly Bad Girl, too. At least you get to see the endings.
Oh, okay, that's Kag. I was like, wait a minute, is that Kira? Because the silhouette, I was like, no, that's not Kira.
Well, we were watching the HD remaster, which these openings, endings, like this.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, the right-hand side's really giving it away. Which is kind of why I hate her.
Well, Flay.
Oh, I half expected that next time on. No, that's Lacus and Kira.
Yeah, I know, which means that Flay is out of the picture.
Also, it just means that Lacus went out of her way to pick up Kira from the fight that her fiancé was trying to kill him in, then fell for him at some point, I guess, and then turns on her fiancé in a speech given in that theater. She turns on him because he's actively a participant of the Zaft military, and she's traitor to the Zaft military. She hopes that her words will sway him to see her point of view. Yeah, well,
they do.
I mean, yeah, sure, but still, it's a dick move.
Well, she wants to end. If the theme is that she wants to end the war, she has to end the people who are trying to fight it, which are the Earth Federation, the Earth Alliance, and Zaft.
Here's my problem: is that I'm not going to have any really good counter to whatever you're going to say, because you're experiencing the thing in super speed right now, whereas I experienced it slowly over the course of weeks, not knowing how this was going to play out. And I've got to say, obviously, the TV show was better than the movie compilation movies so far have been. We've been promised the movie 3 is going to be better, so I'm hoping it will be.
Well, this one was better than the original, because now I have an idea who was.
You mean the first one?
Yeah.
Sorry, you said original, so it's like I'm arguing against that
right now. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just don't like Lacus. The having to watch it in real time, well, obviously not real time, but in slow time. The development and the betrayal.
I don't think she's betraying anybody.
She's betraying Atherin as hard as Flay betrayed Sai. Which is not a thing you even got to see, by the way. I had to describe for you Sai getting his arm ripped behind his back by Kira as Flay stood behind him. You know? It's a thing.
And so now either what's going to happen is that Flay is going to join up with this other guy. She's going to be part of the bad guys. Or she dies in an attempt to escape or something.
Well, already I preface this all by saying that Flay was like the most hated character for me, and then she becomes like the most interesting character. But I've already kind of spoiled the fact that the father thing goes nowhere, because it was like the biggest question for me. Like, why does she hear her father when he's talking? Don't waste any brain matter trying to figure that out. It goes nowhere. It's not worth trying to figure out. I will also say it happens more than once, by the way. She sits next to him, like, on a flight and says, like, try to figure out the whole father connection thing herself.
Looking for a father figure, I guess.
She had a father figure. He died.
For a substitute.
I don't get it. Why would she be doing that in that moment, though, where she's, like, actively in a gun shootout with him?
Yeah.
All right, well, before...
So the twins get together. So now they're... So she can also pilot a... yeah, but if she's a... I guess now she can fulfill her destiny because now she recognizes she's a coordinator? Or was she was never
hasn't
a coordinator?
Been a coordinator this whole time.
Yeah.
Remember, she got into a fight with Athrun where he kicked her ass because he's a coordinator.
Maybe she didn't realize her... she would have realized up to now her potential. At least when it comes to hand-to-hand combat and stuff. Right.
All right, well, just some quick things here. The changes made for the special edition to The Faraway Dawn. Kira's battles with Marco Morrison are reduced to a few frames. You may ask yourself, who's Marco? Exactly. Unless those are literally a blink and you'll miss it moment. Few frames. The scene where Kigali and Athrun formally introduced themselves to each other has been moved into a flashback scene during the Zala team's attack on the Archangel. There are only a few seconds separating Nicole's death from the next battle between Kira and Athrun. Because yes, there was time between those two things happening. It's not a long fight. Toll's death scene is redone and is more gruesome than the TV series version. I would argue it's not really. I guess maybe they added a couple of seconds of his head popping off, but his head popped off in the original too. There's just more of it. A new scene is added where Kisaka comes to get Kigali after the Archangel sent a distress signal to Orb after the battle between Kira and Athrun. Pointless. Kisaka is the guy I was calling Egyptian Rambo before. When Athrun meets Lacus in the theater, the gunmen attempting to assassinate her are removed. That's the thing I was talking about, the fight scene that's missing from that whole thing. They just have a conversation there. Literally, all the guys who work for Kaiba and Yu-Gi-Oh! Just pop up from behind the seats with guns pointed at them. So... The scene where Erica Simmons shows that she has rebuilt the strike and equipped it with Orb's operating system and Mu's decision to pilot it has been removed. Instead, it shows Mu piloting the rebuilt strike during the Orb arc without any explanation of how he received it. So if you saw the original Gundam that Kira was piloting out there fighting, that's why it's out there. They rebuilt it. That's the Orb operating system I was talking about. Is the one that Kira made that allows people, normals, naturals, to pilot mobile suits. Most of the Orb arc is shown with battle scenes being spliced together to create enlarged confrontations. It's basically multiple fights that they just made one fight.
Yeah.
Don't mind that. The footage of the Lucrece team, Rao's team, observing the Battle of Orb has been removed. Rao is constantly just around these things, watching them happen. Or, dressed down, getting, it looks like he's getting information from, civilian sources all throughout the series so far that's also been not there. it's been a major plot line that had been trying to figure out originally of what Ra was up to. And lastly, the song Akutsuki no Kuruma. This says Card of Dawn, but it has a different translation. Just scroll down a bit. The Wheels of Dawn. By Function Junction, Yuka, is played in full towards the end of the movie instead of the shortened TV edit. Those are the listed changes.
I mean, I liked it. I really did like it. I wanted that child murderer to die, but you cannot get everything.
You leave my boy alone.
No, he should die.
I'm gonna leave a sticker or something. There's a picture of Yazik. You leave my boy alone.
Just stab him. Just stab.
Man, I totally understand where you're coming from. Like you said, the Ellie thing is... You didn't even get to see all the cute little Ellie scenes, like her playing with other kids, or her haphazardly trying to carry water down a hallway to a bunch of people, which can't keep the tray steady.
She's a Kika of the show.
Kika's proactive. Ellie is just doing little kid things.
Yeah.
Because, we see her in the hallway with Flay, and Flay's like, no, he'll protect us no matter what, and then she squeezes Ellie's hand too hard, and Ellie pulls her hand away and runs backwards down the hall. Yeah, no, as like I said, it was a hard scene. I've twice now gone over how horrible they've made her death. Obviously, I didn't do it here because we're watching the movie version, but if you watched it, frame for frame, I think I already described it to you. Her mother tries to cover her from the explosion. Obviously, they're getting hit anyway, so then the explosion covers them. You see Ellie's head pop off the same way Toll's head popped off. Flies towards the camera. Well, this is frame for frame, so in the moment, it's a blink and you miss it thing. But when you slowly go through it, because I noticed it, and I'm like, wait a second, did they animate this whole fucking thing? And I slowly went through, and it's like, oh god, there's even blood flying at the screen through the explosion.
I wouldn't want to be the animator had to animate that.
Well, I mean, it's like five frames, so like it's.
Oh, you still have to do it,
Oh yeah, no. But what I mean to say is, it's 5 frames. It's also not like high render, right? You have to figure out what you're looking at, but you can see it, like the shapes of things. Unlike Toll's head popping off, which is very much in the camera.
Yeah.
Ellie's death is very much oranges over reds, that sort of thing. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of Yazik after that, but Yazik's still my boy. He is the most me character. Like, I had myself drawn as Rao on a suggestion before, pointing, by the way, down in the overlay. I had myself drawn as him as suggestion because I didn't know, obviously, who in the show would be me. Yazik would be me. I wouldn't intentionally shoot a bunch of civilians, but I could see myself making a mistake in a fight, right?
Yeah, but he deliberately pointed the gun and shot, say, oh, hey, they're escaping. Boom.
Yeah, he even says, oh, a bunch of cowardly retreating soldiers. He doesn't say, oh, a bunch of civilians. He says, oh, you cowardly soldiers trying to retreat from this fight.
Yeah, no, still needs a killing.
Yeah, no, I'm not justifying him to you. I'm just repeating for the public record that he didn't say, oh, a child,
Yeah, that, by the way, folks, that's going to be, that now become my phrase in Gundam seed. Yeah, that guy needs a killing. That's lessons, the lessons for today. Yeah, that guy needs a killing.
Those are the lessons learned?
Yeah.
I mean, fuck it, though. My biggest thing about this span of episodes is the fact that Kira's not dead.
I mean, yeah, but
I even did the math on the temperature it would take to melt a jet cockpit, the seat of a jet cockpit, or, I don't know. The fact that we see it melted and we know that Kira was looking through an open hole cut into his Gundam. So he's sitting
down, I suppose.
Oh,
but the explosion would have got him out, yeah.
Literally, we saw that Atherin couldn't get all the way away from the explosion, and he jumped out immediately. And then the timer's counting down, and then we pay it back to Kira, still sitting in the seat, looking up. And then we saw how the explosion covered the entire island. Well, almost most of the island.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I got a comment on the Patreon side that it was dumb to be angry about it. And I would argue, no, it's not dumb to be angry about anything. Be angry about whatever you want. Your emotions are your own. Now, that's not what I said, mind you. I came back with math about how hot temperatures get and whatnot. Because I believe the actual comment was Kira obviously tanked the heat, which, in an explosion, that's the only thing you need to worry about is the heat.
Yeah.
Not the fact that it clearly threw him across the island to a point that the explosion didn't touch.
The shock effect, the shrapnel, and the heat.
I mean, I find it funny that in the current UC Gundam thing, we still have that debate of, did Kuzan survive based on the fact of an explosion happening through an airlock door must have pushed him forwards, And this ramps up, because also he would have had to have been pushed back into the seat, which again melted, and then ricocheted out past the explosion.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, of course, I don't think they were gonna. I didn't believe for a second that he was dead. It was only like, otherwise, this would have been the Arthur show. That's it. Atherin.
Yeah, no, okay. Obviously not. I'm not going to really think, oh, this show is going to be so fucking amazing that it's going to switch main characters halfway through. Oh god, what's the horror guy who dresses up as his dead mom to kill people at the hotel? Bates Hotel.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
What's the name of the movie, though?
Psycho.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be a Psycho where they introduced us to a main character, then led us through his whole life for a bit, and then switched, to somebody else. That would be a ballsy move, but I didn't think they were going to pull it. The interest was, okay, how could he have possibly survived? And granted, you saw earlier where they do the first movie, where they do the atmospheric reentry, and the Archangel gets covered in a goo sort of thing.
Yeah.
I could have accepted that we do a flashback to Kira where he hits a button on the console, and the cockpit fills with the heat resistant goo. It's okay, maybe the goo has some sort of gel property where it's it can absorb a blast, and then we already know it's heat absorbent. They could have done something like that.
But that means, why don't you have that in every single Gundam? Because he's destroyed other Gundams and they've blown up. And
well, the other Gundams that we've seen destroy, he literally cuts into the cockpit with stuff. So it wouldn't that wouldn't protect you from literally being chopped in half by his sword thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have at least explained this. Maybe he does that, then can't get out, and has a hard time breathing. Yeah, I was going to say asphyxiated, but that would have been death. So, whatever. The blind guy comes across him at some point after that. That would have been an answer, at the least. Getting blown across an island in an explosion that melted your Gundam. Again, there's a reason they call him Jesus Yamato. He just fucking survives this shit.
I mean, I guess, well, there's one thing you haven't considered. I think he busted a nut, basically.
Except that unless he has an incredible amount of jizz, that wouldn't save him from the explosion.
I mean, yeah.
A fire hose of jizz right at the atomic blast coming at you.
Yeah. He just busted a nut. Every time he gets, uber powered, he just busts a nut and he wins the battle.
So I'm just thinking of that one Naruto scene. The battle of all the army versus that one guy. The one guy just blows a massive fire at them. You have the whole line of people doing water blasts back at him to hold him back. I think all those people are Kira.
Yeah.
Like I said, it annoys me because it's clearly a plot convenience or contrivance for no good reason. Don't have the scene if you can't explain it. And clearly, nobody cared. It's also the problem.
It could have been done better. It could have been, if you want to have a situation where Atherin believes that he killed Kira and he didn't. There's many ways to do that. I mean, you don't have to hug of death, nuke going off. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've seen Gurren Lagann, right?
Mm-hmm.
The combination thing where the drill comes down through the top of Gurren's head, and Kamina just does like this, and the drills is right there. Could have done one of those. I mean, not like as cool as like, oh, head dodge, the blade ripping through, but stab the cockpit, maybe even like injure Kira a bit, obviously enough that he needs to go unconscious and be saved, but didn't actually hit him. And obviously, as we all know, cockpit shots don't make you blow up.
No.
Sorry, my brain just detoured into how can I roll cock shots and blowing up into a seed nut joke.
I didn't want to say anything, but yeah, my mind went to the same place.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of setup here that gets skipped over. The introduction of those three guys. I believe there's a scene between where they come back out that we see them in a room together in a whole hell of a lot of pain. And I don't remember off the top of my head if the concept is they're going through withdrawal from the drugs that they took, or Azrael is punishing them in some way by putting them through pain, because both are kind of implied there. Also, the fact that I told you before, I think we get 2 different scenes of Rao taking blue pills. Like, he's got like this whole jar full of blue pills that he takes, and one of the times, he's like covered up in a blanket, sitting on the floor, like, drug withdrawal guy, hand shaky, taking the pills. So, kind of don't know what's going up there, but they don't show it here. Maybe I'm spoiling things that the next movie's gonna, like... These things have been doing a thing where I say, oh, it hasn't happened yet, I'll tell him about the thing that hasn't happened. And then, out of sequence, they will flash back to the thing I was talking about.
I mean, they're clearly taking drugs in order to be able to maximize themselves and equate themselves to the coordinators, right? That's what's happening. And then they're having, their body is reacting to it. Like, just like the Gundams run out of energy, their bodies are like, oh, I'm coming down. That's why they're going like, That's my interpretation of it.
An element here that I think ties into UC Gundam. Obviously, it's because the whole thing, but I mean, to an element that I'm actually not aware of in UC Gundam, that I only know exists. But I think it gets introduced in the next movie that I want to use as an explanation, but I obviously don't want to do that. The problem here is that I don't know if it's a thing that they just didn't cover because they didn't think it was important for the movie, or if it is coming up next movie. So I guess my thing is to remember for a week this one thing. Yeah, the whole element of who is the other person related to Kira was also a build-up that you didn't even know would have been coming, if not for the fact that I had to tell you real quick, oh, by the way, there's a thing about Kira being related to somebody else or something. Because when you saw Kira's parents, they're like, oh, we were hoping we'd never have to see you again, President of Orb. And he's like, oh, they've met each other.
So if they're the parents, then who's the biological parents of both of them? Because he shows a picture.
Yeah, it's a very confusing thing, isn't it?
The mother, but she doesn't look like the woman that...
Different color hair, in fact.
Yeah, so basically he gave away Kira to be raised by these two. Well, he kept Kaggle. Yeah, whatever name.
You'll be helped by the board eventually, but obviously I can't show it to you. Also, I still have work to do on the board because I didn't do it for the last episode. But yeah, no, Kigali is her name.
Kigali, yeah.
Obviously it's a lessons rule. In that I'll say that they do answer your question, but obviously a movie from now.
I mean, yeah. I mean, eventually she's gonna meet up with him, and it's like, oh, here's a picture. Like, what the hell does this mean? Blah 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 blah.
Also, the ship that they launched on is the not prototype. It's the thing that the Archangel is designed after.
So now we have 2 battleships.
Well, because Orb designed the Archangel and the Gundams, that's why Orb, we're at the place this all came from. Archangel didn't come from nowhere. There's the ship that we base the Archangel on. Well, I was about to say something, but I can't do that until after the 3rd movie. I'm about to reveal stuff that I still am unaware of the answers to, but that implies that they don't get answered at any point, which is kind of a spoiler for the third movie. Any other thoughts or things that stuck out to you or concerns?
I mean, I liked it, even though it was things were going pretty fast, because I had a little bit of context from the first story. But it's not bad, but it's a thing when you have an anti-war story where you're like, oh, hey, these guys might be the bad guys. No, wait a minute. These guys, no, it turns out these are the real bad guys are some other people. Don't cheer for these guys because these guys are real assholes. It turns out the other guys are also real assholes. So you should cheer for this other group.
Well, I think the real message is that there was bad guys on both sides.
Yeah.
The inverse Trump.
So that Zaft is run by a guy who is really a bad guy because now he has the power to nuke the Earth. That's the thing that I noticed.
From what?
Yeah, but remember the Gundams have the anti or the jamming, whatever.
End jammer, end canceller jammer, whatever it's called.
And we saw nuke either it was part of the Gundam.
No, they're
or
powered by it. That's why they have infinite energy. I mean, it doesn't make much sense, but it's what's going on.
Well, it makes sense.
So they're not walking nukes. That's what you're thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Two things. That makes sense because if you have suppressors on Earth, then these Gundams wouldn't work because the moment they go to Earth, they'll be within the space of this anti-whatever, and they would break down. You know, it's sci-fi.
There's a lot about the neutron jammer thing that doesn't make sense to me.
No. Anyway, it never has. Neutron jammer, okay. But also, if they have the technology to jam the neutron jammer or that means that they can launch a nuke.
They said it like right when they were introducing it that Zaft doesn't use nukes.
But now they have the ability to do so.
Well, it's remember that the motivation of just about everybody here is Janus 7, which is the nuke got used on us thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a real imagine. Sorry, I'm about to. Too many real world things pop into my head when I want to say these things. It is too touchy of a subject for them to use nukes, is what I will say.
Except that in a way, yes, it wasn't a nuke, but it worked like a nuke. So the Earth Alliance already has used a nuke type weapon, right? And their coordinators who...
I think you're getting it backwards because we were talking about Zaft using a nuke, and now you say Earth Alliance used a nuke. Technically, if you think about it, Earth Alliance has used 2 nukes. Again, Janus 7.
Yeah. Okay, so the Earth Alliance has already used 2 nukes to kill Zaft. So now we have a situation where they lost a lot of forces. They lost their best Gundams. And you have a people who technically are superior, their coordinates, so they're superior to the humans on Earth. So it's like, why not just solve the problem with one go? Drop the nukes, kill Earth, and we're done.
You bring up a point here that is reminding me of something, which I guess I could go over with you now here. We didn't get there was an episode, or I guess half of an episode, during this part of the arc that was inserted into the HD remaster, which is the history of George... Ooh, I can't remember his last name. The first coordinator. So it's the backstory of coordinators. Basically, this guy is just like Captain America, right? He's a great football player. He's genius. He eventually becomes an astronaut, goes out into space. He comes back with I think it's technology, but he also comes back with the revelation that he is a coordinator. He has been genetically engineered to be this great, and he tells people how to also become coordinators. So then people will start becoming coordinators. And did you ever watch the Animatrix?
Yes.
I always use the example of not Unimatrix, that's the Borg. Matrix 01 from the Animatrix, where all the robots start getting destroyed in the streets and everything. coordinators are basically treated like the robots from Matrix 01, from the Animatrix. They're subservient. They are made to serve us. They're not human anymore. So coordinators have this whole history of repression, subjugation, everything like that. And then George goes into deep space. Not deep space. George goes into space and they starts towing asteroids around, whatever, with other coordinators, and they make the plants and whatnot. So before Janus 7, coordinators are already mistreated by the naturals on Earth.
Yeah,
and treated horribly. Like less than human. Like that one YouTube channel we referenced just the other day about the two brothers that are played by one guy. Yeah, that badly. And then Janus 7 happens.
Well, okay, so that fits the whole thing because it's like we have been abused, we have rebelled, we try to finish this war to make sure that we are free, but it hasn't worked out, right? We've been betrayed from within as well. So now we have only one choice left to us: nuke the Earth, kill the naturals, and and we also
by the
shown
way,
that
everything I just said, the whole Blue Cosmos analogy really plays itself out, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So
I am pro-Zaft 100%, knowing all this backstory.
And also, the Earth Alliance has proven that they're willing to sacrifice their members of their own Earth Alliance and attack a neutral nation, as well as nuke one of the space stations. So it coming to a point where either we destroy the Earth and kill the naturals and free ourselves from them, and we have the means to do so because we have the way to nuke the Earth. Yeah, it's coming to that. It's gonna come onto that head. He's gonna order the nuking of Earth, and Earth is gonna have to decide to stop him.
There's also an element that you unfortunately have to miss out on in this fast forward thing is all the philosophical discussions of what do you fight for and whatnot. You got a fast forward to that with Lacus, but Lacus is like the least of those conversations. Kigali's dad basically has a more in-depth version of Waltfield's conversation. When does a fighting stop? Because he goes more into why are you so hard up on fighting? Because Kigali is constantly trying to get out there to fight. Why are you so hard up on fighting? Do you not realize that if you died out there, I would never forgive whoever killed you, and I would seek revenge? And that's the cycle of hatred that we're stuck in. Because then you see the Zaft people attacking Panama, and it's like, Hannah died in Alaska, you sons of bitch, shooting people that are trying to surrender because of their anger at the people that they lost at Josh A.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking back to when we recorded Fate the other day, and you were talking about the philosophical position of Castor with vis-a-vis somebody who wants to be punished, but recognizing that God doesn't exist to punish him, and not wanting the human punishment of people who just want. So you don't actually get the fulfillment here of. I feel like C did a better why are we fighting self-questionnaire, as it were. Because, how do you stop the fighting? Especially when everyone on both sides is so hurt by all the fighting that's already happened. Because you can't just pull back.
Yeah. So I think it's going to come to a head. There's going to be a nuking. Or at least an attempt at nuking anyway.
All right, I know. Is that your final thought?
That's my final thought.
All right, well, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below, and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?